What's up, scrappy peeps? It's Adele from Inkie Quill, and today I'm bringing back Scrap Stash Saturday. So essentially, Scrap Stash Saturday are videos that I put out on a Saturday, my time. It might not be Saturday where you are watching this right now, but I dive into my scraps and I try and use some things up because as paper crafters, I'm sure you can relate or understand the paper scraps build up real fast, and I am trying really hard this year to kind of de-stash a little bit and use up things that I love and have been hoarding so that they get used. So this piece here is actually from a layout that you have just seen, actually. Yes, this layout should have been out last weekend, and I did a mixed media kind of page that I punched out a heap of stars from, and this was the leftover piece of the punched stars. So I decided to keep it because it was pretty and I didn't know what to do with it. I shuffled it around my desk for a good week, and I finally used it on this page because it was just too pretty not to. Now, I made a mistake here. If you are scrap lifting this or doing something similar, if you are sticking your cardstock onto glitter cardstock, don't use tape. It doesn't work, and I soon find that out at the end of the video, and I have to do a bit of repairing, but I would use wet glue for that because it just, the stickiness came straight off the tape. So this is a 6x12 layout. I get a lot of questions about my 6x12 layouts and if I have a special album for them. They go in with everything else. All of my Project Life pages, every page that you see over here goes in the same album. I have one flip through over here. I think it's my January 2016 album. If you have a search, you'll be able to find it. And then over on my Patreon, I did monthly flip throughs of all 8 of my 2016 albums, and I'm going to do my 2017 albums once they're done as well over there. But yeah, essentially they all just go in the same album. It's 9x12 from Studio Calico. I know that Studio Calico have kind of put a pause on the 9x12 albums at the moment, but I have heard whispers from other inklets that have inquired that they are bringing them back next year, so fingers crossed. But for this layout, I just felt like this photo, basically I was stuck because what I do, I am going to film a video on my Project Life process, but I pre-print all of my photos and I put them into the page protectors so that I can figure out which ones I want to put in pockets, page protector pockets, and which ones I want to put as layouts. And I got to this week and there was a photo that I wanted to do as a layout, which is on the other side of this one. And it was a vertical 4x6 photo that I couldn't fit in a pocket page protector, so it had to go in a layout. And I was kind of stuck because there wasn't really another photo that I wanted to do as a layout that I thought was that important enough to get a layout, I guess. Everything else, there was only one more page in this week, and it was pretty boring not boring things, but things that didn't need a whole layout. So I picked this photo just because I thought it was something fun and different, and it's the rare occasion that it's a layout photo that doesn't have a baby in it. And so I thought it might be good to do a scrapbook process video for you guys, sans baby photo, and I'm glad that I did because our family don't take flights very often. I think I mentioned this in the previous flying layout that I did probably about a month ago by the time you see this video. And flying is something that's kind of special for us. It's something that I've only flown 4 times in my life. And so even though this photo isn't an outstanding sky picture with beautiful clouds underneath, it's got some meaning behind it that, you know, we flew in a plane and it was cool. So you can see here, I'm just layering up all bits and pieces. I have this ephemera pack. It's from the Here and Now collection, I think from Crepe Paper. And the embellishments are so giant. They're just, they're huge. And I know that, like I said, we don't travel often. And so I need to use these travel pieces when I get the opportunity to, so that they don't sit in my stash for too long, which is the whole point of Scrap Stash Saturdays, that you get stuff out of your stash and actually use it. And so I laid up a few of the pieces behind there. I desperately wanted to work this tag in because the corally colour was the same as the coral on that background of that watercolour star piece that I did, and I couldn't make it work. It was just too big. So I'm going through and seeing if there's any smaller pieces that might work, and I found this word trip. I thought I might be able to work it in with my title, but in the end it didn't work. And then I had a look at these beautiful new pieces from the Cocoa Vanilla Midnight collection, and I was going to call it Happy Moments, but then it was irking me that I had the text on the photo. I did that, I think it might have been, I think it might have been in the Project Life app that I did that. And it was kind of annoying me that I had the words on the photo and then have a title there. It was too many words. It was too wordy. And so I actually end up covering up the Off We Go section in a moment that you'll see. And so I had these happy moments there for ages, but then I covered it up with this hooray sticker. And then in the end, I didn't like the hooray sticker, so I peeled that off. And it just, I was in one of those indecisive title moods. I didn't know exactly what I wanted for this page, but I kept finding things that I didn't want, and it was difficult to find exactly what could work. So in the end, I do actually stop the camera in a moment, and I spent a good 10 minutes just searching through my thickers and seeing if there was any phrases that I liked, and in the end I settled with this Let's Go Home with some old thickers that I had in my stash. I'm going through some of my Patreon printables from June, and they were travel themed for that month because we flew at the end of May, and I flew in June again as well, and so I wanted to use some of them up so that I could use those travel phrases, like I said before, because I think that it's all well and good to hoard the things so that you have them for the perfect page, but by the time the perfect page comes around, this is what I find with my scrappy stash, by the time the perfect page comes around, there's a new collection out that covers that topic, or there's something else that you want to use, or you don't like that color anymore or the style. And so I encourage you, as we're heading towards the end of the year, to use up the things in your stash that you love the most, because there's new things that will replace those things right around the corner that I'm sure will bring you just as much happiness and that you can use on another project. So try and use up your stash, peeps. We need to start like a hashtag. Maybe if you make a project, if you make a project using goodies from your stash that you've had for a while, or precious things that you've been holding on to waiting for the perfect page, use the hashtag Inkie Scrap Stash Saturday, and I'll have a look on Instagram if you share anything over there. So I'm adding some of those tiny word phrases down the bottom from one of my Patreon printables, and it was starting to get wordy again, but I think because the words weren't all brush lettering, it worked better. That was the thing that was annoying me. I had the font that I had chosen on the photo kind of look like handwriting, and then the brush lettering title looked like handwriting. It was just all too similar. Then I found these hearts were actually on my desk from the video that you guys would have seen over here on YouTube 2 weeks ago, which was a Grab 5 subscribers choose my Grab 5 items challenge, and one of the things was hearts, and I used a bazillion hearts on that layout. If you didn't see it, it will be in 2 videos ago over here on YouTube. and they were still sitting on my desk, and so I thought, why not, let's chuck on some hearts, especially orange and yellow ones, because this photo was kind of giving me orangey yellow vibes. I think it was because of the colour of the tarmac, and it was kind of a goldeny tone to the photo, so I thought the orange and yellow worked. Doing a doodly border with my Pilot G2 pen, my trusty pen that I always use, and this is when I realise, oh, that piece of cardstock with the mixed media is not at all connected to my page. So I go in with my wet glue, and I got glue everywhere, all over my fingers. So I highly recommend, if you're sticking things on glitter cardstock, do this step first instead of last, because it will work much better for you. And this page is almost complete. So I've been really excited in November. I've been bringing back my two favourite series from this channel, Scrap Stash That Day and Grab 5. I also want to try and bring back inspiration from home. If you're a long time inklet, you'll remember a couple of those videos. Let me know in the comments what videos you'd like to see over here, and I will get them up as soon as possible. Alright guys, have a rad weekend, and I'll see you next week. Bye!